Hello and welcome back to another pricey HD video. Today we've got another career mode episode. It is episode 3 of Birmingham City career mode, and today we've got our third Premier League game. It is against Stoke City. We also finished the transfer window in this episode as well. Of course, we've already done a lot of the transfer window action, so there isn't much transfer window action. It's just deadline day, of course, the countdown to the final hour, and then to the final minute and the final second, and then the closure. But ultimately, this is probably our first, well, debatably, Midlands derby of the season. Stoke City are a side that are in the Midlands, but little further away than Birmingham to me. And it's not often seen as a derby as such, but it's always quite a competitive game. Stoke always give you a good game, mainly at the Bet365 stadium, but also here, away, they aren't quite as good as I expected. So we take the lead with an excellent goal from Matheus Pereira, and I love saying that name, Matheus. It's just like brilliant. I don't even know whether I'm pronouncing it correctly. I don't care, because I'm saying Matheus from now on. That is how it's being said. So Matheus Pereira, he actually gets a fantastic goal with a left foot. Bang into the top corner. Look at that. Look at the angle on that. Our new central attacking midfielder yet again gets another one. And that is excellent. He's proven to be a very, very, very promising young prospect at the moment. And I cannot wait to grow him out more. He's only about 19. Another player doing well so far this season is Lozano. But Adams is taking his place this game and hits the bar on his second attempt there in a few seconds. And that was insane. Adams does get his decisive goal though. And we take a 2-0 lead against Stoke. We are looking for our 4th consecutive win. And all 3 wins in the Premier League out of 3. Stoke are back in it though, so quickly. That's how the Premier League can be. The harsh reality of it is, I don't get why they're going off celebrating. They need to get the ball and get back on the spot. But just before half time, really, they're going to be rifled up now. Worst time to concede in a sense, especially at 2-0 up and then down to 2-1. Brilliant goal, fantastic goal. Some brilliant goals this game, got to admit. But, of course, Mora does put them right back in it, and this is a very, very thin ice sheet to be treading on right now. A dangerous lead at 2-1, and a lead that you end up getting complacent with if you're not careful, and suddenly in the 90th minute, even if you've been all over the team, if you don't get another goal, then they can go and score and snatch a point against you. But it is Stoke who start well in the first half, and the second half, sorry, and Diddlon, he is excellent. Again, though, we hit the woodwork. What a rocket of a shot that was. And then we have that from Paul Caddis, not quite as good then on the following. But as the ball is played forward to Adams, it is Stoke who are pushing forward. They're leaving a lot of gaps in the defence. And we finish, surely now, this game off with a lovely goal from our other central attacking midfielder, Chan He, as it's got on the back of his shirt. Han Chan He, as it says on FIFA. And then on So FIFA, it's He Chan Han. So I really don't know what his name is. Just I'm going to call him He. It's he. I don't know. I don't know what his name is, but I don't care because he is scoring just as many as Matheus Pereira right now. And for a position which can only hold one player, they are being incredibly competitive. I'm ended up bringing one on and then bringing that player off around the 17th minute mark, even if he's played fantastically, just to get the other counter play. What a start. First 4 games, we have been ecstatic. Genuinely, that has been such a great start. Of course, our transfer window has been incredibly good. Money-wise, we have been so clever. We've got about 2-3 million still left with a decent wage budget if we want to buy any pre-contracts in January. And yet, you can clearly see that we've improved our squad a lot. We've got a lot of gelling going on. And I've got to say, the Fabrini sale to Stoke has got to be one of the best decisions we've ever made so far. I know we're only 4 games in, I know it's only days, but I swear down, if we continue playing the way we are, if Pereira, Han Chan-Hee, Ramirez, Diddlon, by the way, as well, he's been making hell. He's been making some brilliant camera saves. I don't know whether you've noticed any of them. Some of the saves that Diddlon's been making are upper echelon, top-notch, Spencer FC style. But either way, you can see in the transfer deadline day right now, I'm flicking through all the players that have been purchased and sold by every Premier League club. You can see when it gets to Birmingham in a moment's time, you can see I think we've done some decent business out there. You see, we've spent 10.2 million and sold only 8 million, so we've only spent around 2.2 million. And yet I think we've really done a really good job with our squad so far. And of course, we've still got the youth player to come in as well. Whether he'll replace Roldan, I don't think so. I think Roldan's still a better youth player than the one that's coming through, who's 17 years old at the moment. But What a great transfer window. I know some people will say, oh, it's you're only buying like 70 rated players, but I'm buying players now, and when I'm going into training, which is always behind the scenes, I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, so many more players have that little arrow which shows potential growth, and before I was having to try to find 5 potential growths, and now I'm picking from multiple high potential players, and it's a hard decision on which player to train each week, because if I'm trying to train around 8 high potential players and there's only 5 slots every week, of course I'm trying to get the best out of each one, trying to sort of mix it up. One week do one player, one week do the other, have a constant sort of rehabilitation of which player to choose. Chadham's is already a 78 rated as well now this season because of his training. Donaldson's going down, unfortunately, not made an appearance yet. Octavio Roldan's going up just as you expect, but that is transfers over. Unbelievably, transfers are done. We've got another Premier League game now, one of our hardest yet. It's against Spurs. Apart from Chelsea, we haven't really played some top-notch teams. I mean, Everton you could debatably say as well, but this is the first Premier League game where we're playing a top 4 competitive team. You can see when the table comes up in a moment's time, we are on top. I know it sounds ridiculous, we're the only team to have won 3 games out of 3, which is ridiculous, I know. 2 of them, though, were against, one of them was against the relegation candidate, one of them was quite lucky, and then against Stoke, I think Stoke played poorly. So, maybe it's not quite time to improve the difficulty just yet. Let's see how we do in this game, because this is going to be a lot harder. I have a bad history against Spurs. They're a very good team, and you can see from the start out here, they are only just being held out. Look at this, block, goal line clearance from Cadiz, what a block that was, save, block, clearance, oh, it's out. I don't even know what's going on. It was a scramble in the penalty area, and I've got to say, they deserve that goal. It's a good start for Tottenham. We're not going to win every game, and don't get me wrong, I've not given up hope yet, 30 minutes in, but I can feel the difference in class. Genuinely, this is the harsh reality of the Premier League. We're being put back in our place now. We're being outplayed. Maybe we're slightly too confident, because goals like that do finish teams off, and the fact is, that is the Premier League for you. There's better teams than you. There's better teams than a lot of the teams in the league, obviously. So, to be quite harsh on us, we maybe were getting a little bit too complacent, thinking we're a bit bigger than our boots and bigger than the league, which isn't true. It's not true. We're not bigger than the league. We're not bigger than Tottenham. Tottenham are a much bigger club than us, debatably. Yeah, they are, though. And to be quite frankly honest, despite the fact that it's disappointing that we go 2-0 down at half-time, that is what's going to happen. We're not the best team. The press predicted that we would finish 20th this year, which of course is only before we made a lot of our signings. But you've got to look back and you've got to think, but let's be fair here. Our signings are good and all, but we're not going to be as good as we predict. And in the second half, we played well. We've got to give ourselves credit for that. There's positive to take out of it. But it's the first game where we haven't scored, so we've got to try and work out what went wrong. But we're not going to win every game. First loss of the Premier League season. And it's a very, very shame, but it's a very shame. You know what I mean? It's a big shame. But to be honest, I'm not bothered, but I am sort of okay with it. It's acceptable. And just to make the matters worse, we've got Arsenal now. Arsenal, yeah, they come to Birmingham, and it is going to be a very competitive game. So we've had both London clubs in a row now, both big, like, derby London clubs. Arsenal are on top of the league after Spurs' victory against us meant that they go level with us on points, Spurs do, and Arsenal go to the top, so Spurs helped out their North London rivals recently. So let's see how this game pans out. Of course, you can remember the last season that we were in the Premier League in real life. We played the Carling Cup final against Arsenal, and, just remember how that one finished, yeah? I'm sure all you Arsenal fans do. But either way, let's move on. We've got a poor start, really. A very 0-0 game so far. I don't feel quite as low in confidence as the game against Spurs. Like, I felt the difference in class against Spurs. But Arsenal, they were a bit slower on the ball. They wanted to play a bit of a nicer brand of football, sort of like real life, I suppose, and it didn't quite pay off for them because they could have exploited me a few times but didn't take advantage, and 0-0 at half time, I think that's a solid half for us really, against a team that you expect to be in the top 4, or more accurately 4th.
I don't give a damn.
So, I mean, let's look at how we can do. I don't think we're going to win this. If we do, then it'll be a lucky win, because we haven't been brilliant. But when you get lovely little passing play like that, you feel like you sort of deserve it. And what I don't understand is, Arsenal bought Black recently for like 70 million, and then they've got Czech. So Czech is the substitute. And then they've got Szczesny. Why are they playing Szczesny? God knows, but I suppose it worked in our favour in the end, because we got the 0-0, and, I mean, it's a good point against top of the league. I mean, it's early days, of course, 4 games in, but top of the league, still top of the league, 5 games in, sorry. So this was the 6th game, I believe. No, this was the 5th game, sorry. So, ultimately, that was a very, very good game, and it's been a bit of more of an average episode points-wise, but, you know, 4 points from a possible 9, it's a lot more realistic than the 9 points from a possible 9 that we had previously. So, anyway, do thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you bring yourself back for the next episode, and I will see you next time.